Hi, I'm Dan Kinney from Core Physical Therapy. I'm a physical therapist, and I'm here to talk about neutral spine and core stabilization. The importance of the core is critical. So Katie's been kind enough to help me do a demonstration to show you how you can help yourself. As you're looking at Katie, you can see that she has some rounding in the shoulder. Her center of gravity is a little more over the front part of her toes. So when I go to push on her, she moves some. So there's some instability here. So now what I want to show Katie is how she can put herself in a stronger position just by changing her posture. So we're going to take Katie into what's called neutral spine and draw in through her shoulder blade and put her into this position. So now when I try to push her, she doesn't move. So she went from an unsteadiness to a stable condition. Okay, so now that we have assessed Katie with her posture and we've found that she is slightly off neutral, what I like to do, even though Katie's active and fit, I like to take her into this position. I know it's not functional, but it's a good place to start because she has to think about doing exercise from this position, and she normally doesn't do exercises from this position. So what I have is what's called a stabilizing cuff, and it's this little blood pressure type cuff that I put underneath the back, and we're going to do this exercise utilizing the cuff. So Katie, if you could pick up, and I'm going to place it right underneath the low back. Come on down. So the transverse abdominis, the lower abdomen, runs right across through here. So most of the patients that have back problems have 98% of them are from L4, L5, and S1. Well, the transverse abdominis runs right across this area. Rectus abdominis is all the way up through this area. So a lot of people that are doing exercises thinking they're exercising their abdomen, they're really working rectus abdominis, and people with back problems and people that want to have a strong core really need to get in touch with transverse abdominis. So what I'm going to do here is we're going to put pressure in this cuff here. And this was a research that was done quite a few years ago, but it seemed to have some stability to it in terms of where neutral spine is. So as I'm pumping this cuff up, Katie can feel pressure underneath the small of her back. And what that's doing, when she has her knees bent in this position, it puts the pelvis in neutral position, and by me pumping the air into the cuff, it's now putting her low back into what would be the ideal neutral position. So now we have neutral pelvis, neutral spine, so that's her starting point. So then what I'm going to show Katie is the gauge has 40, and you can go ahead and grab this so you can see this. So I'm just going to run through basic phase 1 core stabilization. So what I want you to do, Katie, is when you try to activate the transverse abdominis, I want you to think that you're zipping up a pair of tight blue jeans. So you're going to really activate in through here. So the transverse abdominis will push down towards your spine and kind of scoop up here. So do you feel that? Mm-hmm. And the gauge did not move, correct?
Correct.
Okay. So now what I want you to do, you can also get this by taking a deep breath in and then blowing out hard. And do you feel that contraction down through here? So now she's aware that she has a transverse abdominis. And that's nice. So what we want now is I want you to keep this contraction, and I want you to slide one leg down and keep that at 40. As soon as you lose that 40, stop and then bring it back up. And relax. Okay, so you could see that she's rocking a little away from the cuff, so she's showing some compensatory thing. So what I want to show Katie now is, you're still at 40?
Mm-hmm. No.
Okay. Okay, so that's your neutral spine. That's your best position to be in. So what I want you to do now is just bring both legs down. Don't try to do anything. And you stayed at 40, didn't you? Mm-hmm. Exactly. So that's what I wanted to show you. This is how you stand, and this is how we want you to stand, is more in a neutral position. So I suspect that the gauge went down considerably.
Mm-hmm.
So it shows you that you're pulling away from that cuff, so you're no longer in a neutral spine position. So if I had you to try to do this, do you think you could get it to 40?
Mm-hmm.
But did you see how hard she had to work at that? So come on back and bring it back. So go ahead again and try to activate. Use your breathing, and you're going to slide the other leg down. Slow and controlled, slow and controlled. So I'm really making her become aware of that transverse abdominis. And bring it back up. So you can see that it's a very slow and deliberate movement. So it's just kind of a re-education, and you definitely get some awareness of the transverse abdominis. So she conquered that. She did well with that. So the next step I have her do would be to lift the leg up and try to keep at 40. And come up even higher. Good. So now this is what we call a 90-90. If you're into Pilates, this is a 90-90 posture here. So what I want you to do now is just march. You're going to bring that leg back down, slow and controlled. And then bring the other side up. And bring it back down. And maintaining that 40?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, good. And that's fairly easy for you. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to have you bring it back up to this to 90. Now I'm going to see if you can bring that one up to 90 as well, and keep it. So now the tendency is for the gauge to go up. And okay, so are you still close to 40?
Yeah.
Okay, so she's able to maintain that neutral spine. So now what I want you to do is you're going to maintain 90-90, and you're going to bring one leg down and really reaching out, and again maintain, and you can feel that transverse abdominis working, and bring that back up to 90-90. Good. And then the other side. And as we're working with our patients, we will find where they're being challenged, and that will be where we start the program. So Katie's doing very well with that. And now you can just bring one leg down, and then the other leg down. You can cut. So what we're going to do now is we're going to teach functional core stabilization, and I'm just doing it with walking. Walking is, if we're walking properly, walking should activate the core, and it should activate the glute. So I just have this band here, and Katie's going to take a step forward with her right foot here, and then transfer her weight onto the right leg, rotate the pelvis this way, and then counter-rotate back here. So we broke the gait down to step by step. When you walk, you do this all at the same time, but as she's doing that with the resistance of the band, she's getting some work to the transverse abdominis, and the right gluteal muscles are working. Now what we're going to be doing is we're just going to do some real functional things. So we have a ball, but it could be a purse, it could be some food, it could be whatever it's going to be. But I want Katie to now do a step with your left foot and reach on out, hand me the ball, and come into this position. Get onto a straight leg here. Good. And then she can come on down into this position, so we can work the core and the glutes all at the same time. She can do this when she's stepping forward. Now step forward for me. Bring this straight out at me. Transfer all onto that right leg. Shift onto the right leg. So see, what I'm doing is I'm pulling her onto that right leg now. So now you can lower the ball. Good. And then try to make sure that she's in neutral position. So a lot of people will want to do is rotate out of that. So I'm going to put my hand right here to make sure she's in neutral position. You can come on back. Next, we're going to do, where you're going to step and you're going to bring the ball up overhead and transfer onto this. And then what I want you to do is you're just going to bring that down into this position. Good. And step on back. Now what I want you to do is you're going to step. You're going to have the ball up here. So you're going to step. Good. And now you can bring the ball across. Transfer onto there. Good. And then bring it back up. And now you're going to do it the other way. So you're going to bring the ball over this way. And you're going to transfer onto your right leg. Good. And then pull down across your body here. So we're getting that nice work in through the obliques now, as well as the transverse abdominis, and the glutes are working. Thanks, Katie, for giving the demonstration. That was wonderful. We are going to be doing ongoing teaching. I'm very much into helping people feel better about themselves, and I want to continue to do the teaching at Core Physical Therapy.